I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. As many of you know, I have a relatively small garden area. However, I'm able to produce a significant amount of food regardless of the space restrictions. And I do this by using succession planting. Succession planting is a method whereby you take advantage of the space you have available by timing your crops appropriately so that you can make the most of your growing season, harvesting more per square area of garden. Let's go through the 4 different ways you can use succession planting to grow more food per square area of garden at home. The first method is planting 2 or more crops in succession. For instance, when I have harvested all of my winter greens in spring, I planted my melons, carrots, and beets over the same area. Once I have harvested the summer crops, I will likely plant another cold hardy crop to harvest throughout the fall. This often works best if you choose a cold hardy crop to begin with, and then a summer loving crop to grow through the heat of the growing season, followed up by another cold hardy crop. What this essentially does is gives you 2 or more harvests in the same square area of garden. Continued harvest in the garden is important. You can do this by planting different crops that ripen at different times. Although this does not save any physical space in the garden, I find it much easier to manage a few crops that are becoming ripe at a time as opposed to the entire garden ripening at once. I plant my tomatoes using this method. I plant my sweet and neat cherry tomatoes that ripen first, making a great garden snack early in the season. Then next to ripen is my Roma tomatoes that I will use to make salsa. And finally, my pink brandy wine are ready much later in the season and are great in sandwiches or just as a side. The next method I use is planting the same crop a number of different times throughout the growing season, extending the time in which I can harvest that crop. Depending on the crop, I'll often plant the second and third rounds in the same location as the first one, taking advantage of the same growing space. I like to plant my herbs from both seedlings and seed. This extends the time frame I am able to harvest. For instance, the cilantro we've been harvesting from has just bolted, just as the ones I started from seed in the spring are ready to be harvested. Similarly, in longer seasons, crops like determinate tomatoes can be planted at different times to ensure you have a continuous supply of tomatoes. Snap peas are a great example of a crop you can successively plant to ensure continued crops. I plant my first peas in April as soon as the soil is workable, and every few weeks after that, to make sure that we have a ready supply of peas in the garden. Interplanting, or planting 2 or more crops simultaneously, is a great way to take advantage of plant growth habits and double up on the harvest you're able to get from the same square area of garden. I do this by interplanting fast-growing crops like snap peas with tomatoes. Planted prior to the tomatoes, they are done producing well before the tomato needs the space. As an added benefit, peas are a part of the legume family and form a symbiotic relationship with themselves and nitrogen-fixing bacteria. So when alive, the bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into a plant-available form. After you kill the plant, leaving the roots in place, it will release the nitrogen and, if quick enough, may directly feed the tomato neighbor, or, at the very least, help replenish what the tomato has taken out of the soil's nutrient cycle. By implementing the strategies that we've just spoken about, you can increase the harvest per square area of garden quite simply and effectively. This method is intensive and does better with a healthy soil that has been amended with compost made from free and local resources. Even that, however, may not be enough to keep up with the demand on nutrients that are required in much higher concentrations. These are called macronutrients. I manage this by rotating in nitrogen-fixing cover crops after my summer crops to help replenish the plant-available nitrogen and organic material. Thank you very much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.